Hey, what's going on? So it's me, Oscar. I'm taking more of a laid back format and doing what I'm now calling my journey journal. And this is more of a conversation with you, kind of letting you into my personal space as I document and continue to document my journey. And hopefully you all find value in what I have to share. And now, a little bit about this format. Now, you all know and should know by now that I have the Beating Diabetes podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo. So that format is both video and audio. And yes, I have a YouTube channel where you can actually watch the video version of my regular Beating Diabetes podcast. But what I started thinking is, you know what, people need to hear and may want to hear just real life successes and non-successes that I've had and experienced. So I said, you know what, why not just do a journal? You know, I've tried the writing down the journal for years and writing my notes down, but you know, that's for me. I've tried the voice memo type journals, but I was like, you know what, let me do something that's fun, that I know is sustainable, that I can do. So this is, think of it as a weekly break from the normal video podcast that I do specifically on diabetes and diabetes reversal and just beating that disease. We shouldn't have to die from it and lose limbs. So definitely check out my other episodes. Beating diabetes and just living a fit lifestyle doesn't have to be complicated, people. So anyway, this is my contribution. So today is Sunday, April 24th, 2022. So I'm actually going to look back and reflect on the highlights of my week. Not every detail because, you know, that may be boring to some people, but I wanted to definitely talk about just the highlights as it relates to, yes, my workouts, my weight, my regimen, just things that, you know, may interest you, even food. So from time to time, you know, I may talk about food and how I eat and how that's been going. So here we go. This is a look back. So I'm talking specifically about the week of April 17th, starting on, or was that last Sunday, all the way up until Saturday, the 23rd. So every week when I do this journal entry, it'll be basically my week from Sunday to Saturday. I hope to keep this going and hopefully you guys like it. And I promise you, this is not going to be a long podcast. It's not going to be a long journal entry. So let's talk about my weight. And the only reason why I even want to talk about weight is, and weighing myself, is like so many of you, you know, we get stuck on what does a scale look like today? What does it look like in the afternoon, in the morning, and all that stuff? And we get so hung up on it. So I track my weight. You know, when I started my weight loss journey, remember I told you all I was 268 pounds. I've since lost 78 pounds at the time of this recording. So for me, it was important to track my weight. And this was all in less than a year or so of doing this and changing my whole lifestyle. I told someone my current weight yesterday or earlier this week, and they was like, man, you lost the whole person. Wow. So I guess you could look at it like that. So anyway, I started the week last Sunday weighing 191.9 pounds. And I ended the week on Saturday morning at 190.77 pounds. So basically, you know, lost a pound for the week. Now, mind you, my week had my weight fluctuating, which is going to happen. You know, I only weigh myself in the morning, which is what I recommend you all do after you relieve yourself, if you know what I mean. weigh yourself then. Don't weigh yourself at night after you've already eaten and stuff like that. I mean, it's not going to benefit you. You want to try to see exactly where your body is. And of course, I recommend getting your body measurements taken at your local gym, or buy a kit where you can learn how to do it and measure yourself whenever you want. So in any case, my weight was going up and down this week. I mean, there was a point where I think I had gotten up to 192.4, and that was on the 22nd. Yeah, that was Friday. So what I realized was I ate late the night before, which I try not to eat after 10 o'clock, but I had a lot going on. I was preparing for the podcast, video recording, and editing. Just a lot was going on. So, I knew there was some undigested food there, so I wasn't too much concerned about that. But I knew, just looking at my weight over the week, okay, I need to make sure that I am not eating late, making sure that I get to bed early, or on time, no later than 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, because it starts to affect me the next day. So that's something that I recommend. Now, in terms of my workouts, I am on, and I have been since I started this journey last June, of getting physically fit and even eating right. My workout started last year in June, where I was doing like maybe one workout a week, 1 to 2, I think it was. And then now I, on average, do 5 to 7 workouts. I actually work out every day, Monday through Sunday, just literally every day. Now, on some off weeks, I may only do 4 or 5 workouts, but I do some type of exercise every morning. So there's the rigorous workouts that I do, the plyometrics, the HIIT training, cardio, strength training, and a lot of just fast movement. I like speed exercises, as well as conditioning and endurance, because that was very important. But this past week, I did 4 rigorous days in the gym. And I had one fun day of putting my hard work to the test. I'll tell you about that fun, tough workout day where I had to put everything to the test. I'll tell you about that in a little bit, because that's a highlight for this week. Some of you all may or may not know, I love hiking. I love going out into the woods. I also like camping. At this age, I'm 49 now, but I feel like I'm in my 30s. I believe I'm in the best shape of my life, and I love it. Hands down, I love it. So I bought some trail running shoes. I really started getting into not just walking the trails when I hike, but also running the trails, where I'm dedicating time to actually running on trails. I like the woods. I like being out in the woods. I just like it. I've always liked it. Never been afraid of the woods. I know some people don't like to go into the woods. They're afraid of seeing snakes and animals and stuff like that. But, I think we should tackle things that we fear and do things that are out of the ordinary on a regular basis. Not just when it's summer and spring, but just making it a lifestyle. So I bought some new trail running shoes by a company called Saucony, I think it's called. I had just heard about them. I've been looking for trail running shoes for a while now. So I bought these on Thursday, I want to say, and I like them. They're, pretty comfortable. So I was like, let me go ahead and put these shoes to the test. So if you all know anything about me, I don't sit still for too long. I like to be active. I like to move. It wasn't always like that. No, I'm not going to lie. I've always been, even when I was heavy, I just like to do stuff. So Friday, when I went to the gym, Friday when I went to the gym, of course, that was a rigorous day, one of my rigorous days of working out. So I went to the gym, did a rigorous workout, and I put in, no, that was Friday. Sorry. Yeah. So Friday after the gym, I decided, you know what? I'm going to put these trail running shoes to the test, and went out into the woods at a place near me. And I put in about 2.3 miles over rocks, gravel, dirt, mud, you name it, fallen trees. And man, it felt so refreshing to be out there. Now, mind you, that rigorous workout that I did in the gym, that was roughly 2 hours in the gym of doing plyometrics, strength, and conditioning that day. I need to look back at my program to see exactly what I did. Yeah, it was power and contrast training, where I was doing some upper body strength, lower body strength, core, and power development. I had already put out all this energy at the gym. So here I decide, hey, let me go ahead and put these trail running shoes to the test. Now, mind you, it's already by this time like 7:30 at night. And me, Mr. Adventurous, I decided to go and hit the trails at 7 something, close to 8 o'clock at night. It wasn't bad, actually. It wasn't dark at all. I ran into a buddy of mine, a guy named Garrett, and his German Shepherd. They were out at the trail. Now, I know this guy, had just met him earlier this year in the gym. Matter of fact, just a couple months ago. And I was noticing his type of workouts are similar to mine. And so we would just talk every now and then, and just kind of build a gym friendship, if you will. We haven't hung outside of the gym, but he's a pretty cool guy. So apparently he runs out in the woods as well, goes trail running sometimes before the gym. So I thought that was pretty cool. So along the trail, we talked a little bit and then split back up and just, ran our separate ways, did what we need to do. And then I saw him again later on. So it was cool to see Garrett and his dog. So now here is the main highlight of my entire week. Back in February, I was on social media. I want to say Instagram, on the gram. And I saw this ad for this thing called Tough Mudder. Now, if you know anything about Tough Mudder or those Spartan races, it's all about not trying to be the first one across the finish line, but rather challenging yourself to accomplish something that you've not accomplished before, or beating your best. Maybe you've done it before and you just want to improve your best. So it's a lot of fun. I was watching some videos on Instagram, and I went to their website, and I woke up, that day on watching social media, and saw this ad and just got hooked. And so I signed up and registered right there on the spot. I didn't hesitate. I was like, I can do this. I had heard of Tough Mudder before. I've seen pictures, and video. Actually, a really good friend of mine named Andrew up in New York. I mean, he's like an expert. I've seen pictures of him do it. So I was like, man, yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, man, that's pretty cool. But then when I saw this ad, it was on a Sunday, by the way, something about Sundays. I saw the ad and I registered right then and there. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And at first I was going to do it by myself. I didn't tell anybody about it, what I was doing, because, I'm still working on my journey, and I didn't want, to tell somebody. And, you have, even sometimes people close to you, you got to be mindful what you say to whom, because, when you're probably struggling with something yourself, one little thing could kind of throw you off. And I didn't want to initially tell anybody. I started telling my kids, and then just a few close friends and people who I felt needed to know, just in case something happened and I got injured and stuff like that. In any case, so I registered in February, And little by little, I just started upping my workout regimen, So my workout regimen wasn't to get prepared for Tough Mudder. My workout regimen was so I can continue living this lifestyle. Because mind you, by February, I was already well into my routine. Everything is this is what I do each week. So I incorporated more strength training because, you had to have, make sure you have good upper body strength and stuff like that. Continue doing my conditioning and endurance because I had heard that, there's a lot of running. So I had signed up for the event to take place on Saturday, April 23rd at the 12 p.m. slot. Probably about a month and a half, I told a friend of mine named Damon, I was like, Damon, hey, I know you've done this before. This is what I signed up. And he was like, I'm in. Right away. He was like, I'm in. Let me just confirm some things, but I'm in. I was like, cool. So we were a 2-man team. And I was like, hey, we need to come up with a name and probably get a third person, maybe even a fourth. So he ended up recruiting a neighbor of his, a guy named Ezra. I had never met Ezra until the day of the race. So you can imagine, just getting prepared for this. So when I mentioned the trail running shoes, me buying the trail running shoes, it was also in preparation for a Tough Mudder. So it kind of makes sense, right? Even though I like to trail run often anyway. I had pitched a couple of names out to Damon for the team, and we came up with Mud Ops. Now, Damon is a military guy. I've never served in the military, but I've always admired, the military lifestyle and just the hard work those guys put in to protect and serve and defend our country and our liberties and so forth. So shout out to all my military folks out there. Hoorah. So we called our team Mud Ops. And so Ezra decided to get on board, and we had a 4-man team, now a 3-man team. So Ezra decided to get on board, so that solidified our 3-man team. I was hoping for a fourth one, but that didn't work out. So man, we met up at the race. Now, mind you, before I get into that a little bit, that morning I decided I'm going to fill my bathtub with water and ice and take an ice bath and just soak in the cold ice, because I had heard that there is, one of the obstacles, you land in some ice water. So I'm like, I could do that. So I did it, y'all. I soaked for like 5 minutes at first, and then I went another 5 minutes, and I was like, this is not bad. It was cold, maybe I needed more ice. I'm going to do it again. So anyway, it was fun. So leading up to the actual race, we get there around like 11:30-ish. We all park, we met up and then go sign in. And I'm actually looking at some of the pictures right now. And it was so much fun, man. The friendship building, the camaraderie. I mean, strangers helping strangers. You meet new people out there. Nobody's in competition with one another. You falling around in mud, people face planting in the mud. It was cool, man. It was really cool. They also have a kids area, which I thought that was a great experience for kids to have. There's a lot of running if you ever decide to do it. There is definitely a lot of running, a whole lot of running. And it was so surreal for me. Because even at the start of the race, they have the DJ out there. You have the hype man who's hyping the crowd up. He's giving us a pep talk before you start the race, and you take a knee in solidarity for the people around you. And then we stood for the national anthem. And I remember looking up at the flag and seeing the flag wave And I was looking beyond the flag for a second time, and I just got in my thoughts about how there was a time in 2020 where I felt like I was going to die because of being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and just feeling like, man, I'm about to check out and hopefully I've lived a full life. Yeah, it was crazy, man. So anyway, if you get a chance, listen to episode 1 of the podcast. I kind of go more into my story about how I was feeling way back when. Any case, so standing there at the start of the race, looking up into the sky and seeing the flag wave, I was very grateful that I was still alive, that I am still alive to see this moment and to take it all in. And I got emotional a little bit, I held back the tears, but man, I got emotional a little bit. And I was just, like, God, thank you. Just thank you. He knew what I was thanking him for. So, we're running the race. The race started, we're running through grass at first, rocks and gravel, running through the woods, running through fields, and we're pepping each other up. We're hyping each other up. We're chanting out there, and people looking at us like, dude, these people are excited, man. So it was fun, and then you hit that first mud mile, where you just jump in feet first, man. And it just felt so good. I didn't hesitate at all. And I mean, we spent quite a bit of time even helping people, just pulling them out of the mud. They're helping us, pulling us out of the mud. And it was great, man. It was a great experience to learn how not to be selfish, but to be selfless. And I think a lot of us, we need to do more of that. Now, I'll be honest, there were times during the race where, you get in your head a little bit. You start thinking like, man, am I actually going to make it? Now, I didn't feel like I was going to pass out or anything like that. I actually felt good. My training, conditioning and endurance, I can see all that hard work being put to the test. But it felt good. But at times it was tough because, you start feeling a little like, okay, you feeling a little cramp in your legs. Man, I started feeling leg cramps about 3 miles in. And I'm like, okay, I need to, on the next time where we stop to get water or whatnot, I know to do some squats, like 10 squats. They said that helps to relieve leg cramps. And it was good though. But now we got to this place called Everett. That's where you have to run. It's like this ramp. You run and you have to leap and either grab the top of it, or there's a rope where you run and you pull yourself up. But the team decided to just do the part where we just run, no rope, and someone has to grab your arms and pull you up. So I want to say Damon went first. Man, he hit it. He made it. No problem. Then Ezra went. Did it. No problem. So I go, and while I'm running, for a split second, I lost my train of thought. And I leaped. They tried to grab me, and I slipped down. I was like, ah. And for a second, man, I just felt like, dang, you failed, bro. But I knew not to dwell on that moment, not to dwell on the fact that I didn't make it. I knew I could do it. So I ran back to the start part, the beginning of the Everett, and ran and did it. My team grabbed my arms and I made it over. But there was still that feeling like, dang, bro, you didn't do it the first time. But I had to get out of my thoughts. We were helping some people. I scaled down, and apparently I skinned my leg, ripped my my compression tights that I had on, compression pants that I had on. But it was all good though. That bruise that I have on my knee is just a reminder that at least I tried it and I overcame the negative self-talk that tried to creep in. And I'm glad and proud of myself that I didn't let it sink in. So here are my final thoughts as I wrap up this podcast for today. It's important for you on your journey to document your progress, whether it's your weight, your workouts, your body measurements, the fun things that you do along your fitness journey. Document it, write it all down, put it in an app, document what you're eating, whether it's every day, every other day, once a week, whatever, just write it down, people. I'm so glad that I did. I have a chart that shows, it's an app actually on my phone where I can see exactly what I weighed the day that I started working out in the gym. I can see my activity. I can see my workouts. I have everything already documented. And I look back at it, and when I talk to people, when people ask me, so what did you actually do? I can show them, and I can, help build them up and help encourage them. So document your progress, learn about yourself, learn what things you need to tweak, what things you need to improve on, because that's going to be very important. Next thing, I want you to set realistic goals for yourself and tackle them. Sometimes we set very lofty goals like, hey, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 1 week. That may not be realistic. I mean, if you do it, yeah, I don't know who can lose 30 pounds in a healthy way in 1 week. But set realistic goals for yourself. Things that you can measure, things that are smart, things that hey, I can go ahead and accomplish, but still challenge yourself. Goals should have an element of challenge to them. It shouldn't be like, if you can eat healthy 1 day out of the week, that's not necessarily a goal. But if eating healthy 4 times a week has been a challenge for you because you eat out a lot, to me, that's a good challenge. You're going to eat out less, cook more, that is a good challenge. If you want to go on a 21-day water only challenge where you're not drinking any soda, fruit juices, alcohol, sports drinks, any of those high fructose, high sugary drinks, I mean, that's a challenge. You can measure it. It's something I think that you can do. And just go ahead and tackle your goals. And here's another thing. I don't want you to give up on your training and development. No matter how hard it is, no matter what setbacks you may experience, even if you fall off for a day or two, get back up. Don't give up on your training. Don't give up, cave in, and quit. You're not built to give up. You're built to succeed. I'm not going to let you fail. So keep listening to this podcast. I'm going to be here to encourage you. I'm your friend, okay? Put your hard work to the test. That's the next thing. Put your hard work to the test. Whether it's, and I'm going to register for a race, or I'm going to take on a new challenge. Put it to the test. Put your hard work to the test. And no matter what the outcome, keep working on developing yourself. That's developing your mind, developing your will, and developing your emotions. That's your soul, people. It could be a weight loss challenge, whatever. Just do something that's going to test your hard work. You want to know how well you're doing. Let's say it's a personal test where you're not doing it with anybody. Let's say if it's hard for you to walk a mile, but you can do half a mile right now. Challenge yourself to tackle that 1 mile. And then once you get that 1 mile, walk a mile and a half. Do it in increments, in small increments. So start challenging yourself. Put yourself and your hard work to the test, people. I know you can do it. So finally, surround yourself with a team of people who can build you up and not tear you down. That's really important. That's all a part of evaluating your ring, your circle. That's your relationships. Because people, you're working on something. And you can't afford to be held down and held back by people who don't have your best interests in mind. And sometimes you're going to have to re-examine and cut some situations loose, or at least love people from a distance. That's it for this week and this journal entry. Thank you for listening. As always, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, trust God. I believe in you. You got this.